Hey folks, welcome to another week of trading. Another analysis for you coming from F45 Trading for the week of June 18th to the 22nd. So, had an interesting week. As you can see here, one gigantic, big, long up candle on the US dollar from the FOMC meetings last Wednesday. Threw an interesting wrench into the market. Kind of figured it was going to run to there. I've been talking about it for a while, and it finally came to fruition. Now, something interesting kind of happened. They ran these numbers, so they started pushing this up. I'll just maybe see if I can't bring it up here. You see in here, this was the FOMC release at, I believe it was, I want to say it was 8:30 a.m. New York time. Might have been a little bit later for some reason. I kind of thinking it doesn't matter. Anyway, throughout the day, they just started jamming price up. They actually raised interest rates a bit, so that's the result from it. Kept screaming and screaming, 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 and then right up in here, they did something interesting. Now, this contract here, this is the US dollars. You can see up here. This contract actually changed. So, for whatever reason, they had contract rollover, I believe it was, because they switched from the June contract now to the September contract, and I'm not sure why they would have picked last week to do it. But I noticed something interesting, that the chart here, it says the candle high on Wednesday last week came in at 94.92. Something interesting happened, and that this chart actually read, I was looking at this as it happened, and it actually ran up to this area at about 1 o'clock in the morning. New York time, I believe it was 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, New York time. Might have been actually maybe a little bit later. Maybe it was 2:30 or 3 in the morning, New York time. At any rate, on my chart, they were screaming it up, and they actually ran 95, and they actually brought it up to 95.17. And I have a screenshot of it that I took. I'll see if I can't find that, and I'll bring that up here. But I have the exact screenshot of where it was, and then close everything down, come back a couple hours later, and the chart's been updated, and this is what I see. The high comes in here at 94.93, which is a failure to get above these highs. So I just kind of figured, well, maybe I'll just cross-reference this with a couple of different charts. So here's my other demo account. Same thing. Failed to get up to that high. They came in on this guy here. This one came in at, well, you can see down at the bottom there, high 94.42. This one was here. Sorry, that can't be right. 94.42. Let me just bring that up one more time. Yeah, they had it as the high was actually the next day on this candle. That's the Thursday. So I thought that was interesting. You can see here. Sorry, 94.75, 94.80 basically was the high on there. And then I brought a couple other charts up just to. Now this is interesting. This was the June contract, I believe. You see how it swept the highs over here? It did that about a month ago. It came back down, and then the high on this one came in, 94.80. Maybe this one was in September. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. I've got another chart here that I just want to bring up. June. Yeah, that was the June. Yeah, sorry. And then this is the September contract here. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I got my charts backwards here. See, right up here. This is the September contract. So you can see here, price failed to get above 95, but it did run higher than these highs here. So that's the September contract. That's the current contract we're on the US dollar. This was the June contract. And look at the high. 95.11. 95.12, basically. So it took those highs out. So getting some conflicting information on that. Long story short, the U.S. Fed, they had increased the rate by a couple basis points. So they're going to try to squeeze this thing higher. So whatever it did here on Wednesday is kind of irrelevant. This is just market fluctuation. They'll probably end up coming back down. I would imagine they'll probably come back down to somewhere around these levels down here. Maybe just running off of these old highs in here. They'll probably bring it down Monday, Tuesday, and then they'll probably want to run higher Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If this candle right here gets broken to the downside, and I'm not talking a wick or anything like that, but the actual candle closes below, then we'll probably want to run these lows down here. But you can see what they did here. They came down and just ran this low here. That's basically a turtle soup long. Boom, we're going higher. I believe we'll probably end up pushing higher on the US dollar, which means all of our cross pairs are going to probably go lower. Now you can see here, same thing, had a failure on the Euro USD, had a failure on the pound dollar. These lows failed to get broken, and consequently, similarly, that failed to get ran as well too on this chart. And you can see it a little bit better on this guy here. They really failed to run that high there. So just kind of found that interesting. So that's some conflicting information. But what I kind of wanted to point out to you today, to try to make a long story short here, very, very interesting week. There's a lot of FOMC speakers on the US dollar all the way up into Tuesday. Wednesday even, as Fed Chair Powell is speaking. So there's a lot of FOMC and Fed speaking throughout the week, so it's probably going to bounce price around a little bit. So make sure you're prepared for that. Could be a little bit of volatility this week of trading. I would personally stay away from the euro for this week, just because Draghi is speaking. Look at this. Draghi is speaking Monday. Draghi is speaking Tuesday. Draghi is speaking Wednesday. Was it Wednesday or Thursday? Oh, maybe it was just the 2 days. Oh, it was a bunch of pound sterling news. Big news on Thursday. And then on Friday, there's a whole bunch of French flash news, some German news, some PMI, and everything else. So I would definitely stay away from the euro for at least the first 2 days of the week, Monday and Tuesday, and just watch that one. See if the pound wants to move as a cross pair to trade, and then if you're trading the yen at all, I would maybe sit on the sidelines until the yen news comes out on Wednesday. And oh, sorry, there's Draghi right there. Yeah, so Monday, Draghi, Tuesday, Draghi speaks, and then Wednesday he speaks again. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the euro could see a little bit of volatility. So I would probably sit on the sidelines on the euro, and unless there's an obvious setup, which we'll let you know. But I would personally recommend just sitting the euro out for until at least after Wednesday, till it settles down a little bit. Anyway, with that being said, something interesting is coming up. So we've got crude oil inventories on Wednesday as usual, but as you can see right down here, where is it? Unemployment, Fed, Philly. Oh, there it is right there. OPEC member meetings start on June 21st. So I was talking about the the price of crude oil, and I said I was going to sit on the sidelines until these meetings, and I believe there was going to be further downward pressure on crude oil. I'm going to go through those charts here in a minute, but you can see here the meetings start on Thursday, and they continue right in OPEC meetings, which is right here all day on Friday as well too. So once these meetings are done, then we can pick a better direction on oil. Until then, I'm not going to be taking trades on that, but we will be watching it very, very closely to see what they do. So, like I was saying, kind of to summarize the news, it's going to be a very interesting week news-wise. We could see some volatility. There's a lot of big, high-impact news events all through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week. Friday, more so the Canadian dollar news. We got some CPI and core retail sales and a whole bunch of medium impact news events. So probably going to see some movement on the Canadian dollar. So let's have a quick peek at the charts, and I'm going to wrap up this recording here. So US dollar, I'm predicting it to go higher. I think it still wants to run these highs up here. It did it on the June contract, and it did it with, and it almost actually came up right to my target of 95.20. So once I find that that post, that you know what, I might be able to find it here, guys, if you give me 30 seconds. Because I posted it to our member group, and I just want to see. June, what was the date of that news? FOMC was the 14th, 13th, right here. June 13th. I can't seem to... Oh yeah, there it is. Right there. Anyway, I'll post that for you guys. I gotta pull it up. It's on my... I took a screenshot off of my phone on it, and I'll post it here when I can find it again. But interesting on the US dollar. Euro USD failed to take out that low. I would imagine they're probably going to run this thing back up into this neighborhood. I would suggest this consolidation area is going to get tagged one more time, and that comes in at 1725-ish. I would imagine they will probably want to bring this price back up to here one more time, and then more than likely roll it over if that is their intended direction. There's lots of areas under here still for price to run on the downside if they do want to continue to take this lower. See right down here, there's some equal lows under the market right there, as you can see. Where stops would be residing, and if they do want to continue to take this lower, there's lots of room down here. So we'll go through that, but I want to see price open up a little bit Tuesday, Wednesday. I think there's definitely some room for this to run up upside a bit here, and then we could see it roll over. Same thing with the pound dollar. Again, failure to swing down through this lows. I'm still looking for price to come under here. I think this is the ultimate target, and again, on Thursday of this week, we're going to see a lot of pound sterling news come out. Monetary rates and everything like that. Won't be trading the pound on Thursday, but we could certainly look for a couple of setups pre-Thursday to see where we could get in on this one. So I'm looking for price to something similar to the euro. I would be looking for price to run. I don't know if this high is going to hold out. It could be a little suspect. But if we don't see price get above basically these two equal highs in here, I would imagine price is going to run up into there. I think they'll probably swing up above these highs. Now, if it gets enough strength to go above here, I think there is definitely an area up around here where we could see price run up to, and that would come in at, I mean, potentially 133.80, somewhere in and around there. You know, we may not get up there, right? I mean, don't hold me to that, but I think we will see some retracement on the pound, and then we could see the thing start to run lower from there. So if this level gets broken here, and this level comes in at basically right around here at 133.20, if price holds, if 133.20 holds, and we don't see price wanting to do much more than that, then we'll probably see a rollover from there. But these equal highs up here, I think, are definitely going to get taken out. Right above that right there. So we'll look and watch price come up into here, see what it wants to do, and then we'll be looking. I'm looking for the downside. I'm looking for this area in here to come in and get tagged still. I think there's that's just a nice area of consolidation where they didn't bother to come down and take the stops out, and I think this is going to be a prime location. And this right here, them coming down, putting in a double bottom like that, I don't think that's going to be support. I think price is going to come down and start screaming down through there. So, especially if we get that continued push higher on the Euro USD. Euro GBP. You see how price got smashed down here? And the Euro GBP went down as well too. If this is going down, the pound dollar should technically be going up. So it's either the Euro USD, which you see the drop here is going to drop, or the pound is going to drop. Well, they actually dropped both of them. So that's why I'm kind of thinking there could be, in order to catch up in relation to this, they may manipulate this a little bit higher into the week. So, like I say, my eye's going to be on this one, but I'm going to stay away from the euro just because for the week. And then we're still right back in the middle of this range here. I would expect them to push this price higher, back up into here. And I still like these areas right above here that they obviously did not come back in and raid yet, but I think that's going to be the target going forward. I think they'll come swing up into here and kind of do one of these guys here. And who knows from there? It could continue to run higher, or it could reject and want to stay back in the consolidation range. But I think that's ultimately where they will take that to scoop up the liquidity. US CAD convincingly broke that high. And again, very interesting. US dollar did not convincingly break that high yet, but the US CAD was well on its way to breaking those highs, this high here. So probably going to see continued upside if price doesn't start to reject. Now keep in mind, I would expect price to retreat back down to, I don't know, let's say 131.25, somewhere in and around there, and then run higher. If that level does not hold it and act as support, we could see this thing trade a bit lower. But if they do push the dollar up, the US dollar up, this will continue to go higher as well too. Now this is obviously correlated directly with the price of oil as well. So if they start pushing oil down, which is basically my next chart that I'm going through, if they continue to slide oil down, then the US dollar, US CAD will continue to run higher. And I've got some areas up in here, the US CAD, that I believe, you know what, I'm going to mark up the chart again here. Hit some very significant levels in here. I would expect a rebound lower on the US CAD. So just kind of doing, let me just zoom in here. So I would expect something like this to happen. Now when they got back down to this level, I'll be watching. They may want to retrace a little bit lower, but I'm going to be expecting a bounce back higher from there. And again, potentially testing these lows in here, and once eventually they get through those lows, then all the liquidity is sitting right up in this area, right up here, right above those highs. All the liquidity is right there. So that's, I believe, where they're going to go next, right up there. That's the next target. So we'll be watching that one and playing right along as it goes. 133.50 basically. That's the new target for US CAD, me personally. If I can get it on there, 133.50. Okay, so going forward, oil, as I said, I've had this chart, this area 63.70 marked on my chart for a very, very long time. Price finally came in and slid down last week at the close off last week after this weak attempt at a rally here. Smashed it down one more time, easily took the 63.70 level. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think we're done yet on crude on this drop. I think I think it's got a little bit a ways to fall. And look at this run up. Like look at this big bull run. I mean, even if price, let me just put a fib on this real quick. Even if price, let's just say for example, wanted to even come back down, you know, to the 50% level and take out these levels under here, I mean, that's still a healthy retracement, and price could easily tick right back up to that $70 or $80 mark from there, right? So just, you know, keep that in mind if you're a crude oil trader. We may not see the bottom here. I like these lows that I have marked under here at 60 even, basically just a sweep down to these lows, and I want to see what happens when price gets down to there, if it does. Get down there. Now, more than likely, what they're going to do is they'll probably retreat on this price a little bit, and maybe want to even come back up to this level in here. Well, basically the 65.50 level, pretty much somewhere right around where my line is there. But that's about 65.50. We could see price just do a retreat back then, and then I'd be looking for it to roll over again. If this high gets taken out, you know, which could happen this week towards the end of the week, once the OPEC news comes out, they could start pushing price all over the place. I'd be looking for this high next to get ran. So that's my thoughts on crude oil. And that's pretty much all I want to talk about. Copper, I'm going to be watching this week. We're definitely down into an area where we could see some support happening, so I may be looking for a long trade on copper. I'll let you know as soon as that one comes to fruition. Cocoa had a very, very nice bounce here. I was actually hoping for it to come down a little bit more down in here and fill this little gap in here to this high. It didn't do it. It just started bouncing, so we could see higher prices on cocoa yet. Coffee, very interesting, gapped down into the entry area. I'm still not taking a long yet. I'm not 100% convinced. I want to see the open this week and see what price does. If it starts screaming up, I'll just look for the next retracement candle to get long, because I think we're going to be going for these highs here. And ultimately, these highs in here is my target. But so far, very, very positive. Nice bounce on cocoa, or I'm sorry, on coffee, and I think we could be seeing higher prices. Nothing on cotton or orange juice that I want to look at. Our sugar trade is kind of starting to trade off a little bit weaker from last week. It consolidated a little bit, and then into Friday it dropped off. Looking for price to bounce higher, though, and continue that run north, so we'll watch for that. Nat gas, unfortunately, didn't get in on it. Price is consolidating in here, and I wanted to see it drop under these lows and take these lows out. That's why I had these lines on the chart marked out. Didn't do it. This low here, really in particular, I wanted to see this low get ran. Didn't do it, just started to run here. So we'll see what happens if they basically do something like this, come down into Monday's trading and start to see some resistance off of the highs in here. Then we could look at getting into a long position on that gas. Again, coming into the summer months here, you know my theories on that. So, and then lastly, Bitcoin going to continue to get crushed, guys. It's going to come down. It's going to start sweeping this low, and then eventually this low here is going to get taken. And I bet you this low right here at 5,600 will get swept as well too. So it's going. It's going to drag Ethereum. It's going to drag Ripple. And it'll drag Litecoin's already down there. So Litecoin, probably these lows here are probably eventually going to get taken out as well too. And I've been calling these lows for a very long time, so this should be nothing new for you guys. I'm bearish on crypto for the time being until I see a significant area breached, not just here, and I'm looking for the significant area to be here and then here to get breached. Then I'll be looking at potentially reversing my opinion on crypto. But the banks are smashing it down. There's no two ways about it. All the big money stepped into crypto. They're smashing it down. They want to reprice it at lower numbers so they can get all of their money in it and then manipulate it right back up. You know, don't be confused about that. The banks are into crypto. They're starting to create their own crypto, and the majority of the public is already in these guys. They're in Bitcoin. They're in Ethereum, Litecoin. You know, all the big ones. Where all the retail guys are in, the banks want to be in. They want to get that money. All they're going to do is just short until they've cleared out basically everybody who thinks crypto was done and it was a fad, like the .com bubble, and then they're going to get in and they're going to smash it right up, and they're going to, I mean, these highs are probably just going to be a stepping stone. That's personally what I believe. So that's it. I know I kind of took a little bit longer than I would have liked to, but this was very, very interesting action last week, and I'll be honest with you, I think they're probably going to continue to run it higher. We may see a bit of a retrace. I'd like to see price come back down and reprice itself out about 93, 94 level. That would be nice. See some support in here and then run higher. And if these lows get taken out, well, then they could be shooting for this next. But I think if they were going to do it, they would have done that already. And they would have convincingly scooped these highs if they hadn't, if they were going to do that. So, but they didn't. But that's my thoughts for another week. I'll be back for a live session Tuesday, London Open, as always, 12 a.m. New York time. And I'll probably be around 12 a.m. New York time, maybe 12:30 New York time. I'll give you lots of notes so you can jump on. We'll be looking for a few trades going forward on probably pound dollar and a couple other items. Like I was saying, I kind of like where copper was setting up to, so we'll see if we can't. So we'll see what Monday does on copper, and then we'll go from there. So with that, hope you guys have a great week, and I will catch up to you Tuesday. Take care.